Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube pipe community. This is a VR to public piper, not a contest of any sort. Public Piper has posed 8 questions with the request that we try and answer at least 5 of those questions. I noticed the Holy Smoking Pipe Padre's already had a go at this, so I thought I'd try as well. I am smoking a recently acquired Hardcastle poker, a little eBay find. It's proven to be a firm favourite of mine in the few days since I acquired it. And in it I am smoking some Squadron Leader, which is a fairly ready standby for me. And for those of you that have noticed that this is one of several videos this evening, I apologise if I'm making my presence overly felt. So question 1 is the best or worst comment that we have had from a stranger while smoking in public. I don't do a lot of smoking in public, purely because I tend to keep my pipes for relaxation in the evenings, but I was recently on a trip away with my wife to Oxford, and I found myself having a pipe outside of a shop while I was waiting for the good lady. And this young man approached me, shook me warmly by the hand, and told me how brave I was for smoking a pipe in public. He kept telling me how brave I was and how rare it was to see a pipe smoker. Congratulated me wholeheartedly, and left as soon as my wife reappeared. Question 2 is a variation on a fairly standard classic. If we were shipwrecked, which tobacco would we choose to have with us the rest of our lives? Now, the Holy Smoking Pipe Padre quite cleverly suggested that he would take tobacco seed so that he could plant and grow his own tobacco, and then depending upon how he harvested and cured that tobacco, he could have an infinite variety of tobacco flavours going forwards. Public Piper said this was lateral thinking rather than cheating, and given the fact that the man is a man of the cloth and obviously can't possibly cheat in that profession, I'm inclined to agree. However, I'm not convinced I would have the patience to plant seed and wait for it to harvest, let alone go through the motions of curing and all. So I think I will just stick with a never-ending supply of something like H&H Old Dark Fired, which, depending upon how I pack it and time of day, my general feeling, etc., seems to be a different smoke most times I smoke it. Question 3 is obviously a linked question. Given that same shipwreck, which pipe will we choose to use for the rest of our lives? Well, generally for me, my favourite is probably my most recent acquisition. However, having thought about it, and having thought about the reliability of such things and which pipes I tend to go back to time and time again, I would probably pump for my everyday Meerschaum, which is a firm favourite of mine and which has been with me for some years now. Great smoker, decent sized bowl, easy to maintain and nice to handle. Question 4 was Still the same shipwreck, but which chair would we want to smoke in? I have to say that to date I'm not that bothered about the chair I sit in when I have a pipe. But I think if I could put my order in advance of the shipwreck, I'd probably go for a voluptuous leather wingback chair so that I could feel comfortably ensconced and cuddled by it whilst smoking my old dark fired and my meerschaum. Question 5 is one of the ones I intend to skip because I'm reasonably confident that my answer might cause discomfort or offence to some of the community, and I have no wish to do so. Question 6. What life lessons have we learned from smoking a pipe? Well, I'm not entirely sure I have learned any life lessons. Save that my involvement with the YouTube pipe community has enabled me to broaden my horizons, broaden my contacts, and listen to points of view from all over the world. And whilst that's not directly related to smoking my pipe, I wouldn't have found the community without smoking my pipe. So I would probably stick the YouTube pipe community up there as one of life's great lessons. Question 7. Society's views of pipe smokers. Now this is going to sound offhand at best and more likely arrogant, but I don't really pay much attention to what society thinks of what I do. I make a point of trying not to hurt or offend anybody I come into contact with, and I make a point of trying to understand, respect and accept their alternative views and preferences. I expect other people to do the same. If they don't, that frankly is their problem, not mine. So I would guess that there are vast quantities of do-gooders out there who strongly oppose anything that other people might enjoy, including tobacco products, but I don't really care. Now, if that has irked any of you, then I apologise for that straight away, but realistically, I don't go through life worrying about what other people think. And the final question was whether or not I would prefer to smoke alone or with friends. And in truth, I haven't got a benchmark to compare. I have never had an opportunity to smoke with other pipe smokers, and until that happens, I can't be certain what my choice would be. But I would hazard a guess that sharing my hobby and some of my preferences and details of my choices with decent friends over a pipe of tobacco and maybe a decent cup of tea or a slightly stronger brew would be quite wonderful from time to time. Equally, I do relish the selfish time I have, just me and the pipe. So I think I would say that I would like to be able to smoke with pipe smoking friends from time to time, but that if it doesn't happen, it's of no consequence, and I'm quite at home drifting off in my own little world, surrounded by bluish smoke and potentially disapproving looks of society as they pass me by. So, I hope, Mr. Public Piper, that has satisfied your curiosity, and that other people will take up this, I was going to say challenge. It's not a particularly challenging set of questions, but it could be, and it could encourage people to think, which is always a bonus. So, thank you for setting the questions, and I hope that you and yours are infinitely happy in all that you do. Good night.